Hi everyone. The scripture for today is from the book of Luke, chapter 15, verse 1 to 32. Since it was very long, um, in this book, they're talking about the parables of the lost sheep and lost coin. But I'm going to read the parable of the prodigal son. And he said, there was a man who had 2 sons. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the share of property that is coming to me. And he divided his property between them. Not many days later, the younger has gathered all he had and took a journey into a far country. And there he squandered his property in reckless living. When he had spent everything, a severe famine arose in that country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out of one of the citizens of that country, who sent him into the fields to feed pigs. And he was longing to be fed with the pods, and the pigs ate, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself, he said, How many of my father's hired servants have more than enough bread, but I perish here with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion, and ran and embraced him and kissed him. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, Bring quickly the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet, and bring the fattened calf and kill it, and let us eat and celebrate. For this my son was dead, and he is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to celebrate. Now this older son was in the field, and as he came and drew near to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said to him, Your brother has come, and your father has killed the fattened calf, because he has received him back safe and sound. But he was angry and refused to go in. His father came out and entreated him. But he answered his father, Look, these many years I have served you and never disobeyed your command. Yet you never gave me a young goat that I might celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours came, who has devoured your property with prostitute, you killed the fattened calf for him. And he said to him, Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. It was fitting to celebrate and be glad, for this your brother was dead and he is alive, and he was lost and he is found. Celebrating when the lost are found. Throughout his earthly ministry, Jesus' association with sinners shaped his religious critics. But Jesus consistently explained that he had come to seek and save lost. Luke 19 verse 10. To reinforce this truth, Jesus told 3 stories about search for lost things. With each story, Jesus confronted the religious leaders with the truth they kept missing. God is in the business of restoration and celebration. Luke 15 verse 7. These leaders failed to listen with discernment as Jesus confronted them with the fact that they were like the older brother in the 3rd story, who had stayed home, served his father grudgingly, judged his brother unfairly, then distanced himself from his father without leaving home. Luke 15, verse 25 to 30. Jesus came to earth to launch a search and rescue mission, seeking and saving those who were spiritually lost. The sinners of his day loved to invite Jesus to their gatherings. Luke 5, verse 29. The Pharisees stood by, scowled, and judged. They complained to Jesus' disciples about his eating and drinking with the tax collectors and sinners. Jesus responded that it was not that the healthy who needed a doctor, but rather those who were sick. Matthew 9, verse 12. The Pharisees and other religious leaders loved the trappings of their offices, respectful greetings, sitting in the most important seats, and having the opportunity to load others with religious burden they personally had no intention of carrying. Luke 11, verse 46. In contrast, Jesus did not come to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. Matthew 20, verse 28. The Pharisees thanked God that they were not needy like the sinners around them. Jesus rebuked them with a story about a tax collector who cried out to God in his spiritual poverty and found salvation. Luke 18, verse 9 to 14. Earthly concerns clouded the judgments of the religious leader and caused them to disregard the spiritual truth Jesus taught. Confident that they knew God's will and that God was pleased with them, they resisted Jesus. As Jesus submitted to the grand plan of the gospel, the religious leaders manipulated the political system to ensure Jesus' death. Unwittingly, their actions set in motion all that was required for the lost to be found and for celebration to erupt in heaven. Have a great day, you guys, and God bless.